If you want to build more muscle from dips, definitely try these simple form tricks. The first being where you grab the bar. See, most lifters will face the power rack or dip station while grabbing the edge of the handles. And although this is extremely effective for building mass, it's also much harder on the shoulders for one simple reason. Because the handles are coming out in a V formation, this causes you to be internally rotated, which is not bad in itself, and I did this for years and will continue doing so as a variation. But as a #1 mass builder for the long term, facing the rack, doing it this way, is harder on your joints and overall recovery. The only time this is a non-issue is if the handles are literally neutral. In that case, it doesn't matter where you're facing. Now, if you absolutely insist on keeping this kind of form, at least don't grab the edges, because that is where the handles converge outwards the most. Instead, you want to be about a thumb away's distance, or the closer the better. The key is that your face is not hitting the attachment itself. So as long as you're somewhat neutral, then you'll generally be in a better position. But even so, this is not #1, which is facing the other way. Now the handles are still coming out, but you're no longer in internal rotation. Rather, you're in a semi-supinated position, aka externally rotated. And this will allow you to dip far more comfortably. Just try it. You can lift heavier, less discomfort. Not much needs to be said. It better accommodates your anthropometry. Similar to a reverse grip bench press minus the wrist pain. Secondly, if you wish to experience the wonders of stretch-mediated hypertrophy, then it's to your benefit to not go super fast like this, bouncing out of the hole, no control, basically not spending time in the most difficult part of the lift, as well as getting down into that position. So what I'm saying is, you want to feel those pecs ripping apart, as if it's gonna tear right off. Of course, it is unlikely that you'll get injured as a real natural, but the point remains. You want to grow through the way to stretch. Don't skip out on the most hypertrophic part of the lift. And remember, we're doing full range of motion here. No half reps. I'd rather you do lengthened partials rather than normal partials. So you control yourself, don't rush it, hold it for a second or two, come up. This is really good form. And you won't have to load 3 plates and above, but you're still maximizing the stimulus, creating a crap load of tension in those pecs. I promise you'll feel it way more than these typical fast reps, which I still love, especially for down workouts. And if I'm gonna go absurdly heavy for overloading purposes, but slow it down, control, hold it, come back up. Man, you can instantly feel the difference. Stop relying on the stretch reflex so much. Drop your ego and savor the length and range. After all, you can still explode on the concentric, because I'm not recommending super slow training. Don't confuse the two. Thirdly, if you want to best grow your pecs, then I recommend maintaining a forward lean. Don't go from somewhat horizontal to vertical. This right here is a common street lifting technique and is often used in 1-rep maxes because it's easier. But if you maintain somewhat of a planche push-up position, so you're lean and you stay there, so your head is facing forward on the way up, you don't let your body drift backwards, you're gonna feel it way more. And it's a lot more difficult. You kind of have to stabilize your body a bit more in space. You could even put the feet a little bit in front of the body, kind of Giron style, so now you're looking at them in the bottom. Might make it a little bit easier to maintain this, but I don't think this is necessary. Instead, just think of your body like an escalator, where you're going straight up and down, 100% vertical. Vertical referring to the straight up and down motion, not your body positioning. Think of this as if there's something behind your back blocking you from going here. Like you're physically unable. There is a wall or bench. You don't need to put chains around your neck. This form should come naturally, especially when you got weight suspended. And I would argue that just controlling yourself and being mindful of the lean will get that movement pattern grooved in. You don't need training wheels to assist. Like, this is something that could be learned within one training session. So that's why I generally refrain from extending my neck in the bottom, because where the head goes, the body will follow. So keep that chin either tucked or look straight down. You can be neutral if you want, and that'll give you the incentive to stay leaning forward. That's also why an upright dip is less pec, because now the elbow is being kicked back, kind of resembling what was once described as the impossible dip. Lastly, for weighted dips, whether using a loading pin or chain, there's one thing you need to be aware of, and that is what's going on with your feet. You never want them to just be loose, because as you're doing your dips, the weight will naturally start to swing. You're getting a pendulum effect. And when you got 4 or 5 plates on there, that's the last thing you want. Not only is it extremely unstable, but it can also cause injuries directly. Now, luckily, there's an easy solution. The first is squeezing the plate really hard with your feet / shins, which minimize the swing. And the second is closing off those legs, letting the weight fall back on you if there's going to be any swing, leading to much more consistent reps. You'll get less jolts that cause you to lose your groove. It's also superior for hypertrophy, since motor unit recruitment goes up, there's less coordination demands, force production is as high as it's going to be for weighted dips. Honestly, this is hands down #1 when using the loading pin. And by the way, I generally favor the pin just because it's faster to set up. All you gotta do is stack on the plates, whereas the chain, you gotta take it on and off every single time. Here, I'm clip and go. That said, it's the same cue with the chain. You can even argue it's easier to do so if using the squeezing method, as opposed to this way, where now there's less surface area to contact and it might move side to side, so now you have a different kind of issue. Otherwise, there's one more little secret, which is shortening the chain. This way, you can use your powerful thigh muscles to clench on those plates. And that feels amazing. So if the weights are slippery, typically being metal, try out this version instead. So that's it, guys. These are my simple techniques for getting more out of dips. I hope you give them an honest shot. Let me know how your chest feels the next day. And if you have additional tips to share, let's hear in the comment section. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.